I picked up a paper towel holder from Dollar Tree, along with a glass vase and 2 sheets of wallpaper. Once I got home, I peeled off the back of the wallpaper sheet and started rolling the vase on the sticky side. This ended up not being a great idea though because I couldn't control the air bubbles, so I ripped that one off and I grabbed the backup sheet of wallpaper I bought. This time, I kept the vase vertical so I could squeeze out the air bubbles with my fingers as I went. Then, I used a pair of scissors to cut off the excess. Since the wallpaper was a little taller than the vase, I had this extra lip on top. So using my scissors, I cut them into small little notches and then just folded them down. Now you could stop here if you just wanted a cool custom vase, but I didn't. I took these glass gems, also from Dollar Tree, and added them to the inside for some extra weight. Then I took my paper towel holder from earlier, flipped it upside down, and placed it in the vase. Because I didn't have enough gems to fully secure the paper towel holder, I added some scrap paper to hold it in place. Then I took it over to my entryway table, where I placed a lampshade on top and used some zip ties to secure it. Then I took a basic puck light and set it right on top. This DIY lamp looks like a cool vintage piece you would find at the thrift store, and you would never guess it was made out of a paper towel holder and a glass vase.
Here's a home decor hack that costs just a few dollars and looks like something you'd find in a high-end home store. Now, to get the trendy look, you're going to need a can of textured spray paint. Look for one that says stone or concrete finish on the label. Then take both containers outside and give the outsides of each a good coat of that textured spray paint. I like to start with a light misting so it doesn't run at all, and then go back in with a second coat once the first one is dry. You'll also want to flip the bowl over at the end and spray the inside as well. After everything is dry, it's time to assemble. Grab your hot glue gun and attach the pieces together with the taller container upside down and the bowl sitting right on top of it. Hold those in place for a minute until the glue sets firmly. Now here's the magic touch, battery-operated puck lights. I keep a pack of these around all the time because they're so handy for decorating with. You just press them to turn them on and off, and you don't have to mess with any cords or outlets. And just like that, you've got yourself a one-of-a-kind lamp. When you press those puck lights on, the soft glow it gives off is just so cozy. I've seen lamps like this at home stores for $50, $60, even more. This version, just a few bucks and maybe 20 minutes of your time.
To start this project, I headed to the Dollar Tree and picked up 4 of these glass candlesticks. Next, I removed the stickers from all the candlesticks, making sure to remove any residue that was left over. Then I placed the first candlestick right side up on my table and applied an even layer of E6000 glue for a permanent hold, followed by some hot glue for an immediate hold. Then placed the next candlestick upside down onto the first one. I made sure to line up the ridges located on the outside of both candlesticks for a more seamless look. Once the second candlestick was secure, I repeated the same pattern for the last 2. Once the glue dried for several hours, I spray painted the entire stack of candlesticks with 2 coats of a matte black spray paint. Once the spray paint was dry, I used a dry sponge paintbrush and painted some antique gold rub and buff all over the high points of the candlestick stack, then used a paper towel to buff out the paint and make it a little bit shiny. This finish gave it the look of antique brass, which was what I was going for. Next, I picked up a medium-sized linen lampshade from the craft store that didn't require a harp. Then I marked where the lampshade made contact with the top candlestick in 3 places and made a mark with a permanent marker. I added some hot glue to those marks, then placed the lampshade back on top of the candlestick to secure it. I found some battery-operated puck lights on Amazon and added batteries to one. I removed the sticker backing from the puck light and traced that circle onto a magnet sheet, then added 3 more strips of magnet to the areas where the puck light came into contact with the metal bars of the lampshade. I added my new cordless lamp to my nightstand that it's in a dark corner of my bedroom, and now I no longer have to worry about tripping over cords when I get in and out of bed, and I have some added light for cozy nights.
Ever wondered what to do with Grandma's old china or those pretty dishes you always see at the thrift store? I picked up 4 teacups, 4 saucers, and 1 larger cereal bowl at Goodwill. First, we need to drill a hole in the center of each dish. Mark your center point where you want the hole and clamp the dish down securely so it won't move on you. Most of your dishes will need a hole right in the center of them, but you'll also want to plan ahead for where your power cord will feed out of your base pieces. You'll need a basic DIY lamp kit for this. Take a few minutes to read through all of the instructions up front so you understand how all of the pieces will fit together now before you start assembling. It's really not too complicated, but you want to make sure you know what part goes in what order. Grab a tube of E6000 adhesive and start building from the bottom up. Add glue to your contact points between dishes, press them together, then let them sit for about 5 minutes to get tacky before making them permanent. As you stack each piece, continue threading the lamp cord up through the holes that you drilled. Once you reach the top, follow your lamp kit instructions to attach the socket and wiring. This is simpler than it looks, and once it's all wired up, you can go ahead and screw in a light bulb and test out your new lamp. Top it off with a lampshade to finish things off, and you have a one-of-a-kind lamp with so much vintage charm. Who would have guessed that a pile of old dishes that were collecting dust could turn into something so charming?
Take a variety pack of macrame, wood rings, and a balloon. First, start by blowing up the balloon to a medium size. Then begin hot gluing the rings to each other around the circumference of the balloon's surface. When finished, pop the balloon inside. Take a plastic bag and painter's tape. Tape off the portion of the wood ring shape. Take everything outdoors and use spray paint to cover up the exposed portion of the round shape. Once the paint dries, remove the bag and the tape and add a lampshade and a puck light. There you have it, a cheap way to create your own easy DIY cordless table lamp for your home for less than $15. I hope this inspired you to try this DIY project in your home. Thanks for watching Home Talk, and see you next time.
Grab a simple lamp and some plain paper plates for this fun and easy DIY. To start, fold one plate in half and make a 1/4 inch mark on either side of the fold. Draw 2 lines across the plate and cut the plate along those lines. Take one of the paper plate halves and use it as a template to draw the same lines on the rest of your plates. You will cut half the plates along the lines and fold the other plates along those lines. The number of plates you'll need will vary based on the circumference of your lampshade. This shade has a diameter of 5.5 inches, and we used a total of 50 paper plates. Starting with one of the folded plates, use your hot glue gun to glue the spine to your lampshade. You'll then glue one of the cut plate halves right next to the folded plate. Repeat this alternating pattern all around the circumference of the shade. Once the shade is filled in, attach it to your lamp base and enjoy your new modern light fixture.
I picked up some placemats at Walmart and this pendant light conversion kit to update this portion of my kitchen that just needed a little something unique. Opening the kit, I pulled out the hanging portion because I'll need to trace this onto my placemats. I slipped a piece of paper under the placemat to protect my table, and using a Sharpie, I traced the socket all the way around. Using scissors, I cut this out and I repeated it on the second placemat. I removed this screw portion from the fixture, slipped both of the placemats on, and then replaced it to hold everything in place. Now to the kitchen. Anytime you're replacing a light bulb, it's important to flip the switches off and flip the breaker. You don't want to mess around with electricity. I removed the old bulb and replaced it with the end of the cable in my adapter kit. Then I followed the instructions for how to set the length and how to screw everything together. After adding a light bulb and shaping my placemats, I was ready to flip the power back on. And wow, now I have a totally unique, modern light fixture over my kitchen sink. It really gave this space the personality that it was missing.